Welcome, everyone. We are live. My, and it's Thursday. I just woke up from a dream. And in the dream, I had cornrows in my hair. But you remember Susan Taylor from Fashion or whatever? No, it was Essence Magazine. I don't remember, but she was there. If you know who I'm talking about, my hair was braided back like that. And they called me something in the dream, but I do not remember what it was. Anyway, that being said, perhaps it will come back to me what they called me. Because in the dream, funnily enough, Jay-Z called me that too. Hmm. I don't know. I do not remember what the name is. But anyway, anywho, driving and living are the same. Oh, how could they possibly be the same? Well, you have to get in the vehicle and decide where you want to go. Whether you drive yourself or someone else drives you, you still have to have a destination, a desired outcome. You must always have a desired outcome because everything is moving. Nothing stands still, right? But also when you're driving, I remember my driving instructor used to say to me, before you make that turn and you're sitting at that red light, before you make that turn, look ahead. Look at where you're going to turn. Just always look where you want to go, is what he always said to me. And the more you drive, the more you understand that. Because if something happens, people do this thing, they drive and they look at what happened. They call it rubbernecking. But if you drive, you will realize that wherever you look, the car is going to go in that direction. Pay attention to it next time. Wherever you look, that car is going to go in that direction. Mm-hmm. Now, wherever you're going to go in your mind's eye, you have to put your eyes on it. You have to make up your mind that that's where you're going. Why? Because wherever you're looking is where you're going to go. You think it's just with driving? Driving follows the principles. Wherever you look is where you will steer the car. So if in life you're looking at the complaining, at the poor me, where do you think you're going to end up? On the curb somewhere. Because you're no longer looking in the direction of where you say you want to be going. Think about that for a moment. Look at it. Even though I drive a Yaris, it's still got some weight behind it. Not a lot, but it's got some weight behind it. Such is life. Life has weight behind it, which is your meaning, your intention. Right? So if you find that you say to yourself, oh, well, I know where I'm going. Well, naturally, if you know where you're going, if you put it in your GPS, especially if it's somewhere you've never been, it means you have to pay extra attention so as not to miss your turn because you've never been there before. But that place you've never been before If it is somewhere that you want to go, what do? You take the same route every time to get there. It becomes a practiced route because you take all time. Pardon me. Ooh, your girl is feeling it this morning, right? Also, when you're driving, when you're driving, you have to be focused, don't you? Now, if it's the route that you drive all the time, you do things on autopilot. How you know you did it on autopilot? Oh my God, I don't even remember getting here. How many of us have said that as we're driving? I don't remember getting here. Like, oh my God, that was so quick. Hmm. Why? Because habitually that is the route you take. So you don't even see it. You know you traveled it because you have arrived at your destination. But don't even ask you for the details. Because you can't give them because you don't see it because it is so familiar to you. Hmm. And here's the thing. Let's touch back on that focus. Isn't there a new law with cell phones now talking about distracted driving? What happens if you're distracted when you're driving? Hmm. No time to respond to things. Or you end up in some kind of, incident, right? So as you are living, you must stay focused. Stay focused. You thought that living and driving were separate things? You have to do the same thing in both instances. Step one, what is your destination? Or what would you like to become? Step two, what would you be doing in reality if you were being the man or the woman you wanted to be? Well, look at it with driving. You have to get in and you see I don't know about you, but I know I see the route before I drive it, especially if it's somewhere that I go all the time. I see the route before I take it. And pardon me, y'all, and depending upon how many stops I have to make, my daddy taught me you go the furthest distance first. Yeah? You go the furthest distance because you don't necessarily always, you don't want to backtrack. So if you have to you do things that don't involve passing your house, so that when you're done, you come home. You don't have you pass your house, then you gotta go back again somewhere else. Nah. He says, no, go the furthest place first. Whoever's gonna close first, that's where you go first. So you see how you make your decisions when you're driving? Look at what you base it on. You base it on the desired outcome. And because you've based it on the desired outcome, you act accordingly. You plan your route according to that. So when you're living, it's the same thing. You decide where you're going to go, and the route unfolds for you. Sometimes there's a fastest route, right? Sometimes there's a fastest route. Sometimes the route has construction on it, meaning life has things. It has potholes, which aren't always fun, but if you're paying attention, you'll see them. And you won't have to swerve, right? You just ease around them. You don't have to swerve, because when you swerve, what that means, it means it caught you by surprise. You didn't see it, right? Think about that for a moment. That as you're driving, you must decide where you want to go. Listen, even if you get in the car with the top down and a little bit of music blaring and you say, oh, what a lovely day for a stroll, like a nice slow drive, like a Sunday drive, right? Even if you don't have a destination in mind, look at the intention. You want to go on a Sunday drive, which means you want to take your time and be leisurely, stop at all the stops and enjoy all the sights along the way. Even if you say that that's what you're doing, you still have to decide to do it, to have that experience. And you thought driving was separate? You have to use the same things, the same principles. And you'll notice something when you get into drive. Who's making the decisions when you are behind the wheel? Okay. Who has the say? You do. You may tell Uber you want to go to a destination, and if it uses Google, they will use the fastest route. But they're there because you said so. Do you understand? Uber didn't show up. You're looking for a ride. It didn't show up asking you if you're looking for a ride. It showed up and said, I am here because you called me. Well, think about that. Nothing shows up unless you call it. Hmm? We summon it by way of our words or our intentions or our internal conversations. Think about that for a moment. Look at some of our cars. I can't even talk. Mine is not obtusely gross. I keep it tidy, but I can stand to do a little better. I do have a big bag for garbage, and I put it in the back, but not got to throw it out, right? What do we have in our lives? And we keep hoarding it up. That the car becomes messy. If you got to give somebody a ride somewhere, you got to be moving, step off the front seat. Hello. How you doing in your life? Say, I want to do something. People are looking at me. I got to act right. Oh, it is very intriguing. It is very intriguing to compare the two things because the same principle you apply to drive is the same principle you apply to live. It's the same one. When you get in that car to drive, even if somebody says, can you go get me this? You still have to decide what route you're going to take. And you also have to decide if you're going to say, yes, I can assist, or no, I'm busy. So when you're living and somebody makes a suggestion to you, well, you can decide, yes, you're going to do it, or no, that is not for me. You still have to make the final call. But look at us. If you don't want to drive somebody somewhere, you clearly say, nah, I don't have the time to assist. But look at how some of us feel. We feel guilty for not assisting. Oh, but I should. And that's just driving, right? We make those decisions. But look at us. Look at how we live now. Somebody wants you to do something and you say, but I really want to have this friend. I don't want to, but man, next thing you know, you give in and you do it. Why? Because you really want to have the friend. Whereas, compare it. If you can say to somebody, no, I can't assist, because they want you to drive them somewhere, you say, no, I can't. You do it. You may feel a little way about it, but you do it. It's the same principle for living. It is. But why do we do it? Because we want to keep the friend. We want to be liked. So if you're bold enough to say, no, I can't give you a ride, then you can be bold enough to say, I don't people please. But you see, we give one more weight than the other. We think driving is just driving and living is so complex, when in actuality, it is simple, just like driving. You got to get in that car and make a decision for yourself. So why are you allowing somebody else to make decisions for your life for you? And let me ask you this question. When you get in the car and you drive, who's the operator? No need to ask. Smooth operator. Who's the operator? You are. You're the one choosing the destination. You're the one putting the key in the ignition. You are the one driving. So you are the operator. Yet, you're gonna get in your car and look for the other driver to drive for you. So why you're getting into your life and looking outside of you for guidance to live it? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. And we think that driving is separate from living. It is not. It is not. You have to get in your car and you are the driver. You're the licensed one. You're the insured one. The buck stops with you. But when you get out of the car and you close the door and burp, burp, when you get out of that car and you say you're living your life, you're looking for someone to guide you. How am I supposed to know your destination? It is your job to guide your life. Hmm? People say, Angela, you're being blasphemous. God rules your life. Mm. It is your awareness that allows you to drive the car. Remember your route, everything, right? Because if you were not alive with that breath in your body, how are you going to drive? It's the same thing. The breath in your body, that's what powers you to live, right? But you are the one who has to make the decisions. So why are we so afraid of making decisions? Hmm. You get in your car, don't turn on the ignition, and say, well, I've got to get to work. So if the Lord wills me to be there, I'll get there. Child, you better turn on the ignition. And you better drive that car to work. This is my point to you. We keep looking to the outside for something to guide us when it is us who's the operant power. Any bus driver will tell you he has the same route every day. He's got the same route. He's memorized where his stops are. Everything. Do they not? Well, you have to do the same thing. Driving and living are the same. They most definitely are. You must take responsibility for your life. Well, and what does that responsibility look like? You'll tell it where to go and you'll protect it. You'll protect it. You'll make sure that you got enough fuel. Desire, passion, that is your fuel. Because without fuel, the car's not going anywhere. Uh, Sometimes we need a tow truck. Sometimes we need a mechanic. But you're the one who still has to decide. You're the one who still has to decide and guide your life accordingly. When you get in that car, you better have a measure of confidence. Hello? And how did you gain that confidence? How did you go from being timid on the streets to being the one hollering behind the wheel, get out of my way, merge, idiot, merge? Yeah. How'd you get there? By continually driving. So gaining confidence means you must continually live. But not just continually live, continually do. Because when you see that you're doing the thing, when you see that you are driving yourself where you need to go, and that you did it safely and you had fun, you turn that music on and you were dancing, everybody could hear your bass. You were enjoying yourself. You'll find that if you enjoy yourself when you're driving, you holler less. At least that's how it works for me. If I'm enjoying myself as I drive, I'm not cussing anybody out. You see that part? That's what I'm saying to you. It is the same. It is the same thing. We all started out as new drivers, meaning we all start out learning that, wait, things aren't what I learned. There's different ways, there's different pathways I can take. And I get to be the one in control, in charge. Yes. And you will realize the bigger the vehicle, the bigger the vehicle, the more rowdy that person is. You know why? Because they have confidence in their vehicle. Yes. Especially the guys who drive the big trucks, you know? Like, I'm not talking semis per se, because they're much more cautious than the rest of us, right? Because they're so big, they can do a lot of damage. So they're usually, you know, more diligent because they're more at stake. Oh, so you're saying that larger things have a larger responsibility? Isn't that what Spider-Man's dad said? With great power comes great responsibility. Each man according to his merit. You know, the smart car, the little two-seater diesel. I'm like, dude, you can't even put your groceries in there and have a passenger. That's one of leisure, right? So their impact is less. Mm, they're smaller, but you got a bigger truck. You've got bigger responsibility. So pay attention next time you're driving and realize that it is the same as living. It truly is, if you look at it. Just pay attention to it for real. The next time you get in the car and you say, oh, I'm just going to be aimless. You can't be. You have to have a reason. Why are you doing that thing? Because you have a destination in mind. And because you have a destination, the route, do you have to go and pave the route? Uh, you got to pour asphalt? You got to steamroll it? You got to paint the lines on the road? No. You don't have to do anything like that. You just follow the route that you intended to take, and it unfolds. So how do you end up at your destination? By choosing it. Same for your life. Decide where you want to go. And then as you're driving, you keep your eyes. And if you notice that when it rains or if the sun is in your eyes, you take extra precautions, which means you do what? You adapt. You don't kiss your teeth because the sun is out. You pull your visor down, or when your visor is down and it's not far enough, you use your hand, or you have sunglasses on. But you adapt. You don't curse the rest of traffic. You adapt to the situation. Pay attention and you'll see it. But once you see it, start to apply it. Take responsibility. It is your life. Ponder these things. Because that's what I was doing. I was driving and I looked at something. It was, and sometimes it's only a split second, you know. And I looked at something and that's where the car started. It was, oh, whoa, whoa. I said, what you doing? Pay attention. You've got to pay attention, Angela. And then I heard my driving instructor. I heard his voice. Where you look, that's where the car is going to go. So look at your life now. What are you looking at all the time? Now, how do you explain that question? When I ask you what you're looking at all the time, what's your mental mood? What's coming out of your mouth all the time? Is it complaining? Is it feeling like everybody's taking advantage of you? What are you looking at? What's coming out of your mouth? So if that's where you're looking, then that is where you are going to experience those things. They will unfold along that pathway because that is what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at. So that's where you're going to go. So you realize now if you have power steering in your car, I think most cars nowadays have power steering, meaning You just lightly hold the wheel, the steering wheel. Because back in the day, they didn't have power steering. You had to really, like, hold that wheel, you know? You really did. It is so intriguing. It is. Especially when you look at how much they have in common, driving and living. So if you take your time, you will recognize you live out the laws every moment of the day. Even when you purchase the car. Even when you do that. Who purchased it? You do. You purchased it. Based on what? What do you like? Who likes you? You didn't purchase my favorite car. You purchased what you liked. That's the point I'm trying to convey to you today. That power that you have, you must use it. And you know what that power looks like? It looks like making decisions for yourself, trusting your own intuition, listening to your inner voice, getting to know your inner voice. That's what you do. It's as simple as that. But you know, we humans, we like a little bit of complexity, right? So today, as you're driving your car, remember, you have to choose. You have to choose your destination. And once you chose your destination, you saw, well, here's something. You saw the destination first. Because if you say, I'm going to go to the grocery store that you're going to go to is the one that flashes in your mind's eye. But if you notice, you got to be in the mood to go grocery shopping. You've got to be in the mood. And when you're in the mood, you say, okay, let me go grocery shopping. And then the image pops up of where you want to go. And you get in and the route has already been predetermined. Do you see how it is your life now? Do you see how it is your life? This is the point. And you'll realize that even if you make a wrong turn, watch people who do that. If they take the wrong turn, they've already committed to the turn. And sometimes when they go and they do erratic things, they create havoc because they committed to the turn, but because they were afraid of what it would take to get back on the right track, they say, let me fix it right now. And then next thing they hear, right? You hear those things because somebody will holler at you because you decided at the last minute to swerve out in front of everybody. Look at how they acted. They acted from a place of where? Fear. So fear makes one do what? Irrational things. So look at your life. You living it from a place of fear? Try it out and you'll see. And Don't judge it. There are many cars that pass us on the street, and usually everybody's bigger than mine. Everybody's bigger than my little baby. But I know what I'm capable of. And every night when I get home and I have to park, I have to parallel park. Now, depending on my mood, I'll park across the street if I don't feel like parallel parking. I'll just do something different, right? See how easily we do that? It's, when I tell you it's the same mechanism, pay attention and you will see it. We have a lot of new truck drivers. And the way the truck is handled on the street, you can tell. You can tell their level of confidence, their level of how they believe in themselves because of the way they drive, the way they carry themselves behind the wheel. I trust that today made a little bit of sense for you and that you will look at those two things. Look at them. And sometimes we have a backseat driver. I said that and I heard somebody's voice in the back of my head. I did. Because we all know a backseat driver. And what happens to you when there's a backseat driver? One of you get a little nervous. You know which one that is? The driver. Because we are so busy listening to the voice that is not ours. Right? It says, the backseat driver's like, turn left. You're going too fast. That's what they tell you. That's what they do. They holler at you and make you feel anxious. So, who in your life are you listening to that brings anxiety in your world because they think that they're the ones operating your life? If you don't listen to a backseat driver or you recognize how a backseat driver makes you feel, why are you going to have one in your life when you're not driving? Why? Why do you tolerate it? You don't tolerate behind the wheel, but you can tolerate it in your life. You better check yourself, right? We renew things, renew our registration, renew our licenses. So clearly, once something must be renewed as you're living, and what is it? Your what now? Mind must be renewed. You got to renew your mind. Different way of thinking. What worked last year for an attitude may not be the most ideal attitude this time around. Pay attention and you'll see it. Think about it and let me know your thoughts. Because this came to me yesterday as I was driving. Like that's what I'm saying to you. I was driving and I started to look somewhere else and I was like, whoa, there's the curb, girl. You're like, where'd that come from? It wasn't always there. Yes, it was. And what's the first thing you do? You get out when you get home and you look and you see how much damage you did to your rim or something. Same thing for when you're living. You must always assess the self. Look at it. Are you doing what it is you say you want to be doing? This is the point. So you're driving your life. Now, you get in the car. Depending on your mood when you get in the car, well, that's how you're going to drive. Pay attention and you'll see it. If you're nice and relaxed, man, you're going to enjoy your ride. You may honk, you may tap, as opposed to lean on the horn. There's a big difference between the two. For real, test it out and see. Test it out and you will see. That's what I'll tell you today. Pay attention. Pay attention. Well, that's what you have to do when you're driving. You gotta pay attention to the road and the people on the road. We have a course here you can take called defensive driving. You know, seeing the nutmegs and the non-confident people on the street, and you're training yourself how to respond in case. You train yourself on how to behave in case a driver does this, or in case the road is this way, you are going to respond this way. You decide how you're going to respond based upon. Look at life and do it the same way now. You have to make the determination. Some people may call you a granny driver. That's okay. Just means you're cautious. That's all it means. But you don't let that get to you, do you? No, you carry on with your driving because you know who you are. But while we are living, we tend to say, oh, this person thinks I'm this way. This person thinks I'm that way. You, as Neville Goddard would say, are the operant power. So today, my beautiful friends, what will you do? Ooh, ooh. I heard him when I was waiting. I heard him and I knew what he was going to do. I'll take that as my cue to let you, as the older folks would say, percolate on that. Think about how you do these things. When you're driving, whatever mood you are in when you get behind the wheel. See now, don't drink and drive. Why? Because you're not thinking straight and you can't even respond. You can't even see straight, let alone drive straight. You are impaired in your driving. So where's the impairment in your thinking? It means you've got a particular thing that you're doing that causes you not to be able to see or to respond or to even think straight, to let alone live straight. Which means you have to do what? Sober up. How so? Get the mind right. Oh, you fell over, baby. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Good fella. A good fella. So you have to sober up. Meaning you have to see things now, comprehend them, and you ask yourself, what do I want to become? And then you see in your mind's eye, and you experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you had become it. You're okay, itty bitty. So ponder that this morning. Ponder it this morning. How you driving? And check your attitude before you get in the car. Because, listen, even if you haven't gotten in the car yet, but you feel your mood, you know you're going to get every red light. Because you'll be saying, see, Murphy's Law, I'm in a hurry. And you know, everything's going to take twice as long as I'm going to get all the red lights and blah, blah, blah. Well, then, you rush the brush, you waste the paint. So take your time. You want to get somewhere earlier? Plan for that. Think about those things. And recognize, even if you aren't driving and there's a bus schedule, you, how do you know there's a bus schedule? Because he has a particular route that he drives every day. See, there's a pattern everywhere. There's a habit everywhere. And that's how you say, listen, if you observe it, you will see that the fact that that bus shows up at the same time every day is comforting. Why? Because you can set your clock to it to say, as long as I get on that bus, I'll make my connections and I'll be where I need to be on time. Same thing with living. Same thing with living. So test it out and see for yourselves. Take my word for it. You got to see these things for yourself. Yeah, baby. You have to see these things for yourself. Watch yourself and you'll see that you drive according to the mood that you're in. So if you drive according to the mood that you're in, then you must live according to the mood that you're in. It's just an observation. Who's here with us today? The better man. Hey, Michael, I see you. Well, I don't see K Frame yet. K Frame is a little late, but he'll be here. I don't have anybody on Twitter. You know how it is. Twitter is as Twitter is. Fan base was with us this morning. We got the lovely Miss McQueen. Hey, girl. And we got Ray Ray in the house. The sweet KZ. Moon and Dolphin Duck. And then we have Flo Smiles. I'll say Casey again because I'm looking at my cross-eyed. Flo Smiles. I like that pink. That pink is lovely in your PTR. It is beautiful. It is. Yeah, and let's all know that Lil Bit is here too. As if we could forget him. And he does enjoy a car ride, you know. He sure does. He enjoys it. He sure does. Anywho, as you go through this day today, recognize your mood. Understand or comprehend that because you are the operant power. You choose the destination. Choose a destination. And remember, Uber is not just going to show up. Uber has to be summoned. So anybody who shows up, you summon them because they can't show up otherwise. There's no coincidence. And with that, my beautiful friends, I will let you be to ponder these things. You must take charge of your life. Every time I say that you must, I remember that very first opening scene on Bridgerton. Daphne, you must make haste. That just rang through every time I say you must. I'm like, that's the first thing I hear in my mind's eye. That's hilarious. How did it get there? Shonda Rhimes put it there in the back of my head. That's what she did. So you see, we are influenced. We are influenced by many things throughout the day. And the things that you're influenced by, that one is, to me, it's playful. So I keep it. But how many things have we kept in our lives that, I'm just saying, how many things are you keeping in your life without checking it, you know? Anywho, don't let me prattle on because you know I can. Wait. Syntaz. I see you. Welcome to the space, darling. From Facebook yet again. Seems like we gonna have a regular. Listen, we have fun on this channel. We really do. So remember, before you get behind the wheel of your car, you have already decided where you're going. But yet you want to live your life and just, if the Lord wills, you have to decide what you want. You do. I can't decide for you. How can I possibly know your destination? You have to know the destination. Okay? You do. And just listen, live every day like it's a Sunday, nice and leisurely. See, it's the attitude of Sunday. It is the attitude of Sunday. Because if I tell you, well, live every day like it's Sunday, what does that mean? It means, what does Sunday feel like to you? There's a particular attitude that goes along with a Sunday. Use that attitude on a Monday. I can see some of y'all saying, she's crazy. How can living and driving possibly be the same? And you discover new things along the route that you take when you drive. You see the ice cream parlor and you're like, whoa, I pass this all the time. Maybe let me stop and try some ice cream. Why'd you stop? 'Cause you were in the mood for ice cream. I can hear my neighbor. You know how they open the door and you hear the beeping? I can hear it. Let me know your thoughts on that, because they are similar. They truly are. If you don't turn on the ignition, or at least fire the engine, well, for electric cars, the engine doesn't fire. There's no gasoline and there's no spark plug. you know? But in order for the engine to fire, in order for your life to do that, you have to have a passion. And we keep waiting for someone to tell us what our passion is. That's like getting in and telling the Uber driver, just decide where I'm going. And then when he takes you somewhere you didn't want to go, you get mad at the driver. You're not mad at the driver, you're mad at yourself. Listen, go forth today and enjoy the beautiful day. I got to get to work, but I just know that phone today because it rained a lot yesterday, like late in the afternoon, like in the evening. It rained a lot, and I'm like, oh, man. Yeah. So I know what that phone is going to be like. I know what it's going to be like because of what we're presently dealing with. We broke records this year for rainfall throughout the city. We broke records. Sure did. So I know what to expect today because that's what it is in response. This is the effect of all of this record rain. See, everything that we encounter has those principles. K-Frame, I see you. So anyway, don't let me keep you. But as you go through your day today, pay attention to when you're driving or if you're being driven. Pay attention. Pay attention. And then let me know what your thoughts are about it. Let me know your thoughts. Because, like I said, this came to me as I was driving yesterday, and I was like, I don't even know what I was lollygagging at. Right? See, when you're driving, especially the same route every day, you put yourself in a trance. See how easy it is to go into a trance? What is a trance? You're just in an altered state. Now, you're there, but you're not. You're still conscious. You're still conscious. You're still aware of your surroundings, but you're relaxed, like really relaxed. That's why when you catch yourself when you're driving, you're like, oh, you snap out of it, you see? So now pay attention to how you're living. Are you living in a trance because you do the same thing the same way every time? Hmm? You would have to tell me because it's you. So pay attention and you'll see the similarities in the two, and you will help yourself to remove the judgment. Right? With that being said, I don't want to miss anything on the chats here. Let me just pop in there real quick. Flo Smiles, you grew that flower. Wow. Wow. Listen, I wish you guys could see it. It is magenta colored. It looks like something I've seen before because when it dries, if that's the thing I'm looking at least I think so. It looks familiar, like a plant I used to have in my garden in Barbados. So, my beautiful friends, go forth today and observe the self as you drive. Observe the fact that you have to be confident, and your confidence did not come overnight. You got up and you drove the same route every day. You learned new routes because, as Daddy said, all roads lead to home. That's what my father says. So you just found the one that was better for you to travel on. And that's the way you take all the time because you're a creature of habit. Right? Okay. So how are you living? Are you living according to the way you feel? Test it out and see. Because that's how you're driving. Listen, even Miss Daisy had a destination, but you know what? I'm done. I love you all. And you know what tomorrow is? Yay! It's Friday. It really is. How did we get here so quickly? I don't know. But we did. Step 1, decide who you want to become. Step 2, begin to see in your mind's eye. Listen, you are already seeing in your mind's eye. You are already seeing in your mind's eye. If I say, oh, I told you I got to get to work, I already see work. I see where it is. I can see the building in my mind's eye. I can call it up. I can sit at my desk in my mind's eye. You are already doing it. So now if you want to change your life, now you begin to see in your mind's eye what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. And then what do? Step 3, rehearse it. I read this person's post and they said how they decided they were just going to put a power suit on. You know, they were tired of something going the way it always was. So they decided they were just going to put a power suit on and walk with a briefcase. And they said they went to Walmart. And people, started treating them like they were this executive for Walmart or whatever, and employees, and were talking to them as they were talking to employees, and because she was wearing the suit. But because she was wearing that suit, she had the attitude that the suit implied, that she was a woman of power. She was a woman in charge. That is what the suit implied. So now, in her post, she said, I felt funny at first. I felt like everybody thought I was a fake. But then I really got into my character. And what do I tell you every day? You rehearse, because the inevitable outcome of rehearsal is to play it out. So rehearse your role. If you keep rehearsing the role of, oh my God, I don't have enough, look at this economy, you keep rehearsing that. Well, the inevitable outcome of rehearsal is to act it out. So you better find a good role to rehearse. Find a good role to rehearse, my friends, and rehearse it. And you know what? Everything will change on the outside. And this is what she noticed. She noticed that people were more respectful. So where does the respect come from? She had to embody it. She had to play it out. She had to act the role of someone who garnered respect. So what role are you playing? You better be in the starring role and watch your life change. Watch it change. You remember the steps. Decide who you want to become. Step 2, experience or rehearse in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. And step 3, rehearse that, baby, because you know where the joy comes from? Knowing that the inevitable outcome of rehearsal is playing it out, acting it out. That is what makes one joyous. That's not going to be eaten with the moths or be consumed by fire. So, I love you. Countdown initiated. Oh, Reacher, hello. And also, Ursula Darling was here. I saw her name in the chat. And I don't know if the app is apping, but I can't see her. But Ursula Darling, I see you. Listen, a funny thing happened yesterday. I say it's funny because it is. I get a text. And I see her name pop up. She goes, Angela, I was thinking of you. Listen, I was thinking about her for 3 weeks. I was thinking about her for 3 weeks, and she messages me yesterday to tell me she was thinking about me. How fantastic. Why did I tell you that? To see correspondence at work. I was thinking about her. I want to venture and guess and say 4 and not just 3 weeks. Because I thought about her and I was like, I should message her and see how she's doing. But I didn't. But she messaged me and she says, I thought of you, so I said, let me text you right away. That's what she said to me. Those are her words. Let me message you right away because I thought about you. Yet we do not comprehend the power that we hold. Well, I can't know for you. You have to know for yourself. As my grandmother would say, I can't know for you. Anyway, go forth, my beautiful friends. I got to get the girls and feed them and tidy up after them and then get ready for work. That's what I'm doing. Peace out. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. Fan base, you know we always close the room last. All right, let's go. Let's close rooms. Peace out, everybody.